And welcome to a brand new podcast. It's called A Lively Sportscast. I am the host. My name is Eric Lively. And on a normal basis, I'm going to be talking sports, whether it's by myself or with guests. If you get a chance and you haven't seen it already, make sure you check out the 10-minute spot that gives you an idea more about what's going on here. But this is the premiere cast. I have a guest with me this first cast. It's a person I've done a lot of talking sports-wise with over the years. It's my son, Tyler Lively. How you doing, man?
Good, good. Great to be here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's in my family. Sarcasm's harmless, so I'm not sure if that's sarcastic or if he's actually
No,
telling the truth. So,
no, that was a real one. That was real this
oh,
time.
okay, I'll take it. Tyler has a little bit of background where we both played sports in high school, and we've been sports fans basically our whole lives. But Tyler has a little bit of background in like coaching and something along that lines when it comes to scouting and whatnot. So, give us an idea of your background with this before we go into anything here.
Yeah, so I coach high school football. We're going into our fifth season of doing that. I coach at Ida B. Wells in Southwest Portland. And on top of that, I also work for a company called Game Time Recruiting and Consulting. We help athletes in the process of the recruiting from being a student athlete in high school and getting them into being a student athlete in college. And we help, get their name out, get them exposure, as well as helping them find free money that's available. Because,
Fee money.
not every kid is going to get a full ride, and so if we can find a way to patch it in so you get as much money as possible, yeah, we help you find avenues for that, and we help kids get to levels from NAIA, which is like Southern Oregon and Eastern Oregon, all the way up to Power 5 D1.
And that's all across the country. It's not just in Oregon.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, if you look at and people at home can obviously do this as well. If you just Google D1 colleges or D2 colleges, it's packed from the Midwest to the East. Out here on the West Coast, that's scattered, and yeah. So getting kids comfortable here in the Northwest of branching out and going somewhere else. That's what we try to do because it's a little easier to get you someplace, say in North Dakota, than it is to try and say, "Hey, Dan Lanning, do you want to take this kid from Portland?" Dan's probably like, "We don't recruit from Portland. Are you kidding me?" So, so yeah,
When we
we
do,
help.
it's rare.
Yeah. So yeah, we help kids get discovered. Like for example, got a one of the kids I coached. We got him over to Montana State Northern. So he's going to that school next year. And then another kid from Skyview, we got him over to Jamestown. Um, both of them are very good schools, and they're Montana's NAIA and Jamestown is Division II. So we're helping kids.
It's all about kids being able to play the sport they love and are decent, obviously good at, but being able to get an education to go to college in the process. You can end up find free money.
Free money.
Free money. Who doesn't like
Well,
free money?
and then also you gotta tell the parents like, hey, like you know I understand you want your kid to go to Linfield, but Linfield's expensive. So if that's what you want to do, you're gonna have to end up paying. But hey, giving kids opportunities, that's what the goal is.
And your kid has been wanting to go to Ohio State his whole life, but you know what? You might be overreaching some, so let's help you win it in some.
Unless you're a stud, but if you're a stud,
Yes.
Ohio State probably already knows you.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah. All right. So this is the beginning of that first one, and we're going to start with something that I have been thinking about a lot the last couple of weeks, it may be longer than that, and I'm pretty sure Tyler has, and that's the NFL draft that's coming up and the quarterback situations that are all over actually in the NFL right now when it comes to drafting, when it comes to free agents, when it comes to is this guy going to be the starter or not? Where are they going to be? So we're going to have a discussion about all that. I actually want to start with, so in your opinion, the draft is about 6 weeks away, I believe, at the moment. And
Sure.
yeah, it's about that. Yeah, 5, 6 weeks away, something that matter anyway. And if you were the Chicago Bears, you had the first pick in the draft. You also have a quarterback on your team right now who was a top pick that you went up in the draft a few years back to get. Justin Fields. But he is on his, I believe it's his fourth year, which next year would be his, or this is his fifth year. I'm not sure which. I think it's his fourth year. And, excuse me. And he would be going on a fifth year deal, which potentially is the time where they have to decide, if I remember this correctly, if they're going to sign him long term or not. And in today's world, that means $40 million plus for most quarterbacks if you're going to sign them to that deal. Or you got the first round pick in this year's draft. And what many people are saying, and I'm not going to say everybody, because I've heard some different opinions here lately, but what everybody is, not everybody, I just said that. What most people are saying is that Caleb Irwin is a once in a lifetime, a generational type talent. And now lately I've been hearing, everybody's on board with that. Fields has not actually proven he can be a franchise quarterback up to this point. He's had some good spurts, but for a full season, he's not actually put together a full season. If you're the GM in the Bears, would you take the pick and grab Caleb or maybe another quarterback? Don't have to be him. Or would you trade it, grab draft picks, move down a little bit, and still maybe get a quarterback that's not Caleb Williams and get some guys that surround him better than what you have now with Fields?
I'm trading the pick. The way I look at it is, I mean, you and I watched Caleb because he plays in the Pac-12, and I'll be honest, like there are some games you're like, holy crap, that's great. And then there's other games you're like, this is who you think is phenomenal. This is who you think that is the number one overall pick. I mean, I think you trade the pick back, you get a bunch for that number one pick. You go get yourself Marvin Harrison Jr. and a damn O-line. Like, let's be honest. The reason why these top quarterbacks fail, I'm going to use air quotes, fail or bust, I would say a large majority of the time it's not because of arm talent. It's because they're running for their lives. For example,
Yes.
Joey Harrington in Detroit ran for his life.
Yes.
Joey Harrington in Atlanta ran for his life. So, like, you can't say Joey was a bust or Joey was bad. We don't know. He had no time to throw. So, like, you, in my opinion, you have.
And that happens a lot.
It happens a lot, and I think you need to give these young quarterbacks time because you drafted them because they were good. And guess what? They were good because they were good behind a good O-line. So, like, Ohio State had a solid offensive line, and Fields thrived behind it. So go get some protection for him and see what happens. And if he fails behind a decent O-line, then sure, then reevaluate. But I think, a lot of teams just give up on a kid too easily just because they see a few bad years. It's like, how about you just address what's actually in front of you, the fact that you have nobody protecting him. So, but, nobody wants to talk about that aspect, right? Like, they just want to say, oh, this quarterback is great. He's going to be the savior. Not every quarterback's a savior, man.
It's hard to be good when you lay on your back.
Exactly.
I don't care how good the receiver is.
And Fields hasn't had consistent coaches.
No.
So, like, again, we're going to blame Fields for being poor, but, like, coaching was bad. O-line was bad. They just last year got him a damn receiver, so, yeah.
Well, and this is Eberflus, which is the coach. This is probably his last chance to do something unless they're thinking long-term. If they're thinking long-term, they're going to be grabbing Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels or something like that. If they're thinking, yeah. Well, I've been hearing stuff about Jaden Daniels where people are saying they think he's better than Caleb Williams. So,
well, we saw him in the Pac-12, and he wasn't anything special. So,
well, he wasn't at that time. He was like a freshman and a sophomore. So, that's right.
Just because you have one good, see, this is what I think is dumb about the draft at times, and just these war rooms that they're sitting in. Like, you get one dude that is like, oh my god, this is the best thing since sliced bread, and they want to bring him in, and it's just like, did you not watch the previous years of stuff or understand that, like, for example, for Caleb, he was with Lincoln Riley. Lincoln Riley's produced Heisman quarterbacks, and look what's happening. They're all getting exposed in the NFL now.
They are. You're right. Yes. Yeah, so I'm not 100% high. I'm not sold on Justin Fields, is my thought on the whole thing. So in my opinion, I would try to trade Justin Fields, get some draft picks and or people, little of both, and then trade your first round pick as well. Drop down a couple spots, maybe to like the Patriots or something, like pick 4 or 5 or 6, and grab one of these quarterbacks.
Yeah, I
I don't
mean,
think
I
that's
don't.
any worse.
No, and the thing is, in my opinion, and I've heard this from other pundits. I'm not a pundit, but like just pundits in general, um, that this draft class for quarterbacks is loaded. So
Yes.
sure, you may not get Caleb, but there's other good quarterbacks. Drake May is a great quarterback. Bo Nix is a good quarterback. So like, I think you're not going to go wrong if you decide to skip out on Caleb Williams. If he hits, then sure, you missed. But guess what? You may have a Philip Rivers in, Bo Nix, and guess what? Philip Rivers is a pretty damn good quarterback.
You just have to surround him with the right people.
Yes, yes,
Yeah. Well,
and and
my team is Miami. Look what they're doing with Tua. Okay.
yeah,
So they're surrounding him with people.
you have to. I mean, that's how the Patriots, not the Patriots. Well, the Patriots did it, but that's how Pat Mahomes and Kansas City's doing it now.
Oh yeah.
Like you just give them receivers and weapons, and
And the right offense.
yes,
Not
yeah,
every quarterback fits the same offense.
no, and not every quarterback's fucking Pat Mahomes.
Very few, actually.
Yeah, I think there's only one Pat Mahomes. So
Well, maybe no. His dad is named Pat.
yeah, but he played baseball.
Okay. Okay. Well, it's sports.
That's true. That's true.
All right. So I'm just going to go over a list I put together here. So let's see. I've got. So I'm going to go with the Seahawks to start with, just because they're somewhat local in our area, and both you and I are not fans either. But whatever. They have Geno Smith as their guy, right?
Yeah.
They have the 12th pick, the 16th pick in the draft. Drew Lock is the backup. So if there's, and I think the contract that Geno Smith signed was a 3-year deal. Last year was the first year of the deal. So this would be year number 2. No, wait, I could be wrong on that.
They got him on a discount. I know that.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the first year he played with them, he did really, really well. But this last year was some good, some bad. He was more than what I thought Geno Smith would be. They had an injury. Drew Lock came in for a game or two. But they have the 16th pick in the draft. From the draft stuff I've been reading and whatnot, you could potentially have, and this is my point here, Michael Penix available, who's from Washington/Seattle.
Yeah.
Do you not think that he would be better than potentially Geno Smith or Drew Lock, even though you and I are not Husky fans? And that he would go over well in Seattle because he's a Husky and took him to the championship game.
Well, I think that's a smart move. And people, I think, forget that his offensive coordinator is now the offensive coordinator in Seattle.
Oh, shit, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Even better.
So he's going right into a system he knows.
And the coordinator knows him, yeah.
Yes. So there's
I
no,
totally didn't think about that one.
There's no learning curve, right? There's no like I gotta learn a new system. No, you already know the system, pal. And you've got Tyler Lockett and DK to throw to.
So he could sit behind Geno for like the first 6, 7 games, get his footing, get an understanding of how the speed of the game is, the ferocity, that type of stuff. And then put him in it. I'm not sure when their first bye is, but put him in after their first bye. All right, you've had this many weeks, 7 weeks. You're playing against a team who's not the best team defensively. Here's your chance.
Or hell, like, let him sit for a year and then reassess Geno after that, because they have Geno right now for 12.7.
Which, in today's quarterback market, still.
Yeah, they're paying him 12.7 this year. So go out and you bolster your defense, you bolster that O-line, And I think once you have the right pieces, then you put Penix in. Gino's taking his hits. So, I mean, if he takes a few more, I don't think his career's over.
And Gino was happy to get that contract.
Well, and then we also saw, with Penix, at least this last year, Oregon put a few licks on him, and so I believe Utah did as well. So, like, you know,
He plays
he's
hurt.
prone. He's prone to getting hurt. So let him just chill and not get hit by T.J. Watt coming around the edge or whoever,
Yes.
or like Micah Parsons, and let's have him not die and hold his ribs for the rest of the year.
Well, he lost, was it like 2 seasons, I think, in Indiana before he went to Washington. Season-ending injuries, I believe. So that was the big thing when he got to Washington is can he last the first season? And yeah, he got hurt, but he lasted. So,
Man, that pain meds these days. Sheesh.
yeah. All right, I want to move on. Pick number 2 in the draft this year, as of this moment. Now, trades might happen by the time or after this comes out, but is the Washington Commanders.
They need a quarterback.
They got Sam Howell, and at the moment, Jacoby Brissett and Jake Fromm.
Loaded.
But I agree with you. They need a quarterback. So let's say, because all the quote experts are saying that Chicago's going to take Caleb Williams. If you're number 2 and you're Commanders, who are you going for?
I'd probably go Drake May, honestly. He's big. He can take hits. He's 6'4". I know Jaden Daniels is 6'4", but he is not thick, and so you have to realize you're playing in the NFC East, and so you're going to go up against touted defenses like the Eagles and the Cowboys, and we'll see how the Giants are on defense this year. But you're going to get your ass beat up by those teams twice a year. So I think you have to go get somebody that's, a little bit beefier, almost like a Ben Roethlisberger beef, to where, if you take a few hits, you're fine. And Drake May, it outweighs Jaden Daniels by, I believe, like 20 or 30 pounds.
Yeah, I was thinking it was 30, yeah.
So, yeah.
He may not be as physically gifted because Jaden Daniels can run, but if he's just able to move in the pocket like he's supposed to, which Tom Brady showed, don't have to be physically gifted, he'd be fine.
Yeah, and let's be honest. Patty Mahomes even showed you like it's fine to not be that mobile, and be mobile when needed. Like he's mobile when he needs to be. Otherwise, he sits back there and just slings that thing. So, yeah, I'm not too worried about having the mobility side of it. I mean, look what happened to Jalen Hurts. He's got legs, and I mean
he hurts.
He gets hurt. Lamar Jackson,
he gets hurt.
And we can talk about the MVP a different time, but that was, yeah. I think you have to go get somebody that can withstand hits, that has the build for it,
or knows how to get away from them. If he slide at the right time, get out of bounds at the right time, realize what's about to hit you and duck, that type of stuff. There's some quarterbacks that are good at that.
Yeah, and what was it? Joe Burrow took a few hits to start his career by not sliding or sliding too late or things like that.
Yes,
I forget which quarterback. Previous quarterback came up to him and was like, "Hey, man, just avoid those hits, and your career will last longer." So, I agree with you on that. If you can, avoid hits, know when to slide, know when to get out of bounds, or know when to throw the freaking ball away. Because there's someone coming.
Know when to throw the ball away. Yes, just throw it out of bounds, take another chance later. Don't worry about it. It is what it is. There's nothing there.
Yeah, but we know there's that inevitable, like you think you got time in the pocket, and around the edge somebody comes and lights out.
Well, there's a reason they're in the NFL. They've been really good up to that point. So
that's true. But there's a good thing for these young quarterbacks that are coming in, and even the current quarterbacks now is, I mean, you blow on a quarterback now and a flag's coming out.
Oh, yes. Yes, seriously. There's plenty of times this last season I went, what was wrong with that hit? Why?
Yeah.
But 7 plays ago, some guy smacked him in the head with his hand as he was going by, but that wasn't a flag?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. But we'll have a conversation at some point with NFL refereeing and refereeing in general in most pro sports. So
That's I'll be honest, that if we start talking about referees, that's a 3-episode topic.
it could be, you're right. We've been screwed by refs in our past, so
Well, I'll just touch on this so we can move on. It's just bad across the board in every sport right now. So
it is.
Yeah.
It is. All right, we got pick number 3 in the New England Patriots. We've moved on from Tom Brady. We still have Mac Jones, but he's not proven he can do shit. Right? They got Bailey Zappi, you know? Hey, Bailey Zappi. No, they got the 3rd pick, so they're picking a quarterback, in my opinion, because, you know, the regime has changed, put it that way.
I see them taking Jaden. I don't think they should take a Jaden, but I see them taking Jaden. Okay, as you can tell, I'm not sold on Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, I've noticed that,
So,
yeah.
they'll take Jaden Daniels, and that's fine. I don't know what their offense is going to look like without Bill there, or like what their scheme's going to be. Who do they have as their head coach now?
He's an ex-player. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He was one of the
Yeah, I remember.
One of their coordinators.
Yeah.
I might come up with it while we're sitting there talking. But anyway.
Was it Gerard Mayo?
Yes, you got it. Gerard Mayo. See, you're 35, I'm Rutgers 60, so your brain works a little quicker than me still. A little.
Only just a little bit.
I've abused mine more than once.
Right there with
yeah,
you.
we'll get into that one, right? So you're not big on Jaden Daniels. What's the reason for that?
If anybody watched him at Arizona State, they would understand.
But he was at LSU. He did really good.
Did really good against really bad teams. Like, sure, you threw 6 touchdowns against University of Louisiana Monroe. I don't even know if they played them. I just pulled that name out of my head. So you're playing Savannah State, and you're throwing 6 touchdowns and running for 2. Like, oh, this dude's amazing. Yeah, those guys weren't even recruited by you. So sure.
Now in college, actually, that's a big difference. It is.
Yeah, and we're in front of a computer, so I'm gonna pull up his Arizona State stats.
Yeah, he was. Everybody talked him up big time back then, but the games he did good, like you just said, were against Idaho State. Those type of teams. Against the big Pac-12 teams, not so much.
So the year before he transferred, he threw for 10 touchdowns and 10 interceptions.
Yeah. Now he made it way after 10 touchdowns too, because he ran more back then. But
he ran for 6. Actually, he ran more this last year.
Really?
He ran for 1,100 yards this last year.
Wow. So he's a Lamar Jackson type player.
Yep, and his Arizona State stats were not great. He was actually good as a freshman, 17-2, and then last year he threw for 40 and 4. So I think it's just the scheme, right? And I think we have to look at, like we mentioned before, if you're going to draft somebody, have the right scheme in place for him.
The right coach makes a big difference.
Obviously, at Arizona State, they didn't have the right scheme for him, and you saw, and it obviously made sense why he transferred, right? So,
yes. All right. So, who's got pick number 3, by the way?
Well, what's your opinion on him?
Jaden?
Yeah.
I'm with you on the scheme. It has to be the right scheme. You and I both are on the same page with this. We saw him as a freshman. We saw him as a sophomore. Then he transfers, and we've seen LSU. My son-in-law's an LSU fan, so I pay attention to LSU more than I ever did. It has to do with the scheme that is the type of offense is being run. If they run the right offense for his straight set, then they're probably pretty good. But you and I both know we have no idea what Gerard Mayo is going to do at the moment. And he is a disciple of what happened for the last 20 years in New England. So I have no idea how he's going to do this. I think Jaden could be a very good quarterback depending on where he gets put. But then you made the comment earlier about, quarterbacks who get in the wrong place have to run for their lives all the time. I'm not sure New England has a very good offensive line. So he's going to have to use his legs, I have a feeling. And what do they have for receivers in New England?
I don't know.
Exactly.
Maybe Juju?
So even if it's Drake May that goes there, I mean, who are you throwing to? Who's blocking for you? New England's their cupboard's kind of big at the moment. So we'll see what happens. Not that it bothers me because I don't like New England. So,
well, they're in the same division. I mean, like, I don't know what pick you guys have, but what are you guys thinking for your pick?
Oh, geez, the Dolphins have like number 20 something. I don't know, but one thing sure is offensive line to protect Tua. Next thing you see is an edge rusher because of losing Wilkins. So it's all over the place, depending on what happens in front of them.
Right.
Yeah, I hope actually personally offensive line.
There we go.
Tua's been hit in the head more than once. So, although this last year he did very well.
Yeah. Yeah, except when I decided to start him in fantasy. You know you're down bad in fantasy when at one point in time you have Baker Mayfield as your starting quarterback.
Hey, Baker had a good season.
I agree with you. He did. But, when you on your team you have Trevor Lawrence and Tua, you're like, dang, I got a good 1-2 punch there. But you're starting fucking Baker Mayfield? Man.
Trevor Lawrence, he went back a couple steps last year, so.
He did. He was also hurt, so.
So, speaking of Baker Mayfield, he had a pretty decent year last year. If you look at his stats, he had a good year last year for Tampa Bay. And didn't they make the playoffs? They lost, I believe, first round, but they made the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, he's a free agent this year. He can go wherever the hell he wants, right? If you're Tampa Bay, considering the Buccaneers had the 26th pick in the draft, do you sign it for like a 2-3 year deal and then hope maybe in another couple of years you're able to get a quarterback in the process?
I don't see why not. I mean, he seems to like it there. I mean, everything I've gathered, people said he was good in the locker room. Good locker room guy. He can sling that thing. He's got a rocket for an arm. In his previous years, has he been inconsistent? Sure. You can name a dozen quarterbacks that have been inconsistent, but I think you just keep him, see if you can sign him for a sweetheart deal, right? And, and go get stuff that you need. I don't know what Tampa even needs.
They just re-signed the receiver. What was it, Mike Evans?
Mike Evans, yeah.
So, and him and Baker seem to have a real big connection too.
Yeah.
But what else do they have? I don't know. I don't pay attention to Tampa as much.
They have Chris Godwin. I believe he was injured most of last year. So
he was injured most of last year. You're correct.
So, I mean, I say you just have a guy that is, consistent and just keep him there. Because let's be honest, the NFC South is trash. It's absolutely abysmal. So you can do the playoffs.
Yeah, they will have a better chance in that division than with others. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, keep them on the cheap. Boom.
Okay, so you've got the Minnesota Vikings. Right? Minnesota has the 8th, or excuse me, they have the 11th pick. I was thinking Atlanta, another team. They have the 11th pick in the draft, which is potentially a quarterback spot in the draft. But they also had Kirk Cousins, who was a free agent, and I think, in my opinion, would be the top free agent that would be people would want in the draft this year? If you're the Vikings, do you sign Cousins? Because Cousins is going to do it for probably 45 mil.
I probably don't. I mean, it's coming off of an Achilles, right? So
Right.
how healthy is he going to be? Is he going to be able to move in the pocket? I mean, I say all this is it's like a deterrent with all modern technology when it comes to medicine now. It's just like he could be even better. Like you have a robo leg down there. I don't know.
Yeah, medicine has changed that stuff a lot.
But I mean, they released Alexander Madison. So who the hell's their running back? So and I believe they released a few other players. So it's Justin Jefferson and.
Well, there's
Yeah.
plenty of future running backs out there, sounds like. Good
Yeah.
ones.
So I don't know. I don't think you bring back Kirk. I think you let him leave. Maybe go to Atlanta, where his wife's from. Go down there.
So Bo Nix is one of the names that have been bantied about the pick for Minnesota at number 12.
I sure hope not. That's just being biased because I'm a Duck fan.
You
I
know
just
what?
hope
Oh,
he doesn't go
11th
there.
pick, sorry. You don't want him to be in Minnesota?
No. Nope.
And why would that be?
Just what I said. It's Justin Jefferson and
Oh, okay.
and. So,
There's nothing around him.
there's nothing. It's going to turn into one of those things. Fuck it, Justin's down there somewhere.
Which actually Bo Nix knows how to do because he had that option in Oregon. So
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if that's a good fit, but I think in all honesty, if it's smart for Minnesota, you probably need to go defense, right? Detroit's got a hell of an offense. Green Bay sure as shit looks pretty damn good on offense. So you got to find a way to stop them. And who knows what the Bears are going to look like? I mean,
right.
I think you need to address your defense. And I mean, hell, if let's be completely honest, if some of these skill players weren't as good as they are, I think you find a way to go and make moves for every shitty team to go get a better offensive line. But whatever. There's a reason why we're sitting in the houses we are and not in NFL facilities. Damn it.
There is.
Yeah, they don't like to hire quarterback coaches or couch coaches. There we go.
Oh, but I'm good at it.
Yeah, we're actually really good at it. Yeah, no,
All right.
I think Minnesota definitely should not sign Kirk and address their needs. Like save them money, go put that money elsewhere.
I actually think that's not a bad idea. And if they pick that out, they could get a decent young arm at a cheap price, develop him, maybe sign a cheap veteran for 1 year, hold over till the young guy gets figured out. I mean, Jameis Winston's out there, Gardner Minshew's out there, Russell Wilson is out there. He get you through a year or so.
Yeah, I mean, just do what Seattle did. Seattle did pretty decent with Geno Smith as their quarterback. So
right.
Yeah, I think there's opportunities.
Speaking of Russell Wilson, he's a free agent, obviously. I heard today that he might be on the East Coast talking to Pittsburgh and talking to the Giants. Personally, I think Pittsburgh may not be a bad spot to go. The Giants, I'm like, wait a minute, didn't they just give their quarterback a ton of money a year ago?
Yeah, Daniel
What the
Jones.
hell?
We talked about this before. We both saw Daniel Jones being a bum like he is. And everyone was like, oh, he had one good year. Well, yeah, he had one good year because he did what everyone should be doing. You gave the ball to fucking Saquon Barkley. So,
who is now a free agent.
Yeah, so look where that got you. Yeah, you're paying a bum quarterback and your dude left.
And they're paying him like $30 more a year, too.
Yeah.
But was it more like, it was like a 3-year deal, wasn't it? Maybe 4. But it wasn't, I noticed it was a 5-year deal. I think it was a 3 or 4-year deal. But still, if you're in the Giants, you bring in Russell Wilson. Is he any better than Daniel Jones, really? I mean, they're getting him on the cheap, but they still have to pay both of them anyway, so.
I mean, he might be, but it's a stretch.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. And
know.
by the way, the Giants don't have much of an offensive line. So why would Russell Wilson want to be behind an offensive line? How old is Russell Wilson? 35?
I
And
think.
running for his life.
Yeah.
You know,
I
he's
don't
your
know.
age.
Well, hey, you know what? I say just throw Joe Flacco in that situation. He's 39.
Joe Flacco was still in Cleveland, by the way, I heard.
Hey, didn't he get him to the playoffs?
He
Or
did.
almost to the playoffs?
He
Yeah.
did.
Build that man a statue.
A statue, yes.
Like Cleveland's terrible. We know this. Like now, who knows what's going to happen this next year because they'll have both of their running backs back. But they weren't
Deshaun.
bad. They weren't bad. Oh come on, Mr. Massage. Yeah,
Hey, they'll make the playoffs this year, right?
yeah. Deshaun was terrible.
He
One of
was.
one of the worst quarterbacks this year.
And we are both fantasy football guys, so we know the stats on the quarterbacks.
Yeah, he was shit.
And that's actually being nice. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to throw another name out there for you. The Broncos have decided that they are who?
Sean
They got,
Payton.
yeah.
That's who they are.
I mean, because at the moment, they don't have a quarterback. Judge Stidham. Really? That's your quarterback?
I mean, no, it's not going to be their quarterback. They're probably going to draft one, right? Like we at least hope. If
They were
you're a
put
Broncos
behind the
fan.
Vikings. The Vikings are 11. Denver right now is 12. Denver can't really trade up at all because they got rid of all their shit to get Russell Wilson.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
they dumped their top defensive back. Uh,
yeah. The pro was a Pro Bowl safety. Was it Simmons?
Simmons, yes, Simmons. Yeah, they dumped him, so they're trying to save money now. So they've got to go cheap, which means draft a quarterback.
Yeah, yeah. They'll grab somebody like Bo Nix. I mean,
Would you rather
he's got
Bo Nix be in Denver with Sean Payton or be in Minnesota?
Denver with Sean Payton.
Yeah, I agree with that part. Even though Peyton's kind of got me wondering about him some, but I think maybe he's just wanting to clear house and do it his way, and they're letting him do it. So,
Well, it's hard to come off as like a super nice guy when you come into a place and the quarterback has an office in the building.
when I first heard about that, I'm like,
So
what the hell?
yeah, yeah. Maybe it's just him and Russ didn't get along, and that's fine. But whatever. I mean, Russ didn't really show anybody like he was worth getting behind last year.
Russ, I think the good stuff that happened to him in Seattle went to his head. And now he thinks immediately he's a Hall of Fame quarterback, which, in my opinion, he's borderline at best, actually. So, and he's married to a woman who's probably making more money than he. Well, I don't know if the last. No, she's making more money than he is, probably. And he just let it all get to his head because Seattle revered him. He was Ken Griffey
Well,
Jr. for the football team, basically.
I think his powers went away when they decided to throw it at the 1 yard line instead of hand it off.
Let's not get into that stupid ass move.
No, but I mean, if we look at it there, like right after that is when Pete and him were starting to butt heads and be like, "What are we doing?" But yeah, I agree with you. I don't. It may have gone to his head, or I don't know. Just come on. I don't know. I don't know what happened, and
He just went in the toilet fast.
yeah.
I mean, fast.
Hey, but at least he got paid.
He did get paid. Got to give the man some curly hair. He
Yep.
got a lot of money. 200 and, what was it, 30 some million or something like that?
Yep. Got a shit ton of money and said, "I'm gonna suck."
And you still got to pay me because you guaranteed that shit.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, any particular quarterback you want to bring up before we wrap this all up for this episode?
Oh, JJ McCarthy.
Oh, there we go. The championship quarterback from Michigan.
So I'm looking here on NFL.com. On one of the mock drafts, they have him going 6th to the Giants.
Oh, there's the Giants again. 6?
6th. I just want to point out that you and I may have better accuracy than JJ McCarthy. Not accurate, and people want to say he is. So, and they want to say he's a good quarterback. Yes, you will definitely be a good quarterback if you take the ball and you hand it to your running back. You take the ball and you hand it to the running back. I understand Hall of Fame careers have been built on quarterback play like that, of the don't fuck it up method.
Right.
But I don't think you should use a first-round draft pick on a guy who just hand the ball off to 2 stellar running backs. That's my opinion. But my opinion doesn't worth shit, so.
So we've noticed, by the way, in years past, quarterbacks that get, especially out of the Big Ten, but not just the Big Ten, Alabama is one of them, for instance. Quarterbacks get all these stats in college. And the reason really they're getting those stats and all this acclaim is because they're surrounded by NFL linemen, NFL running backs that block for him, NFL receivers that give him time, NFL defenses that give him the ball back. And then when they get to the NFL, everybody who they're playing now are NFL players. They're not playing Rutgers. They're not playing, the not quite so good college teams who don't have all the NFL players up and down the lines and everywhere. Suddenly, everybody's NFL. And they don't do quite as well anymore since everybody's good now. There's some people good, but my team's better than all you guys.
Yeah.
I think that's where he's kind of where he's at.
And let's be honest, Michigan's O-line may have been one of the best in the nation. So
Exactly.
I believe Washington won that award, but if you just watch that game that they played in the championship, Michigan, their O-line was incredible.
Yeah, you give him all kinds of time to make a decision.
But the craziest part is, we watched the game. There was no need for him to throw. He threw 18 passes total in that championship game. He went 10
he didn't need to.
For 140 yards, no touchdowns.
100 and what yards?
140.
Oh, I think he said 4. Still, that's not a lot.
No, but in that game, they didn't need to throw, right?
No.
Washington couldn't stop a nosebleed, so I say just keep pounding the rock if it's working.
Oh, yeah.
That's saying something coming from me, and the high school team I coach on, we run a version of the wing T, so.
You guys pound the rock all damn game.
All damn game.
It's Pound Town.
Oh, and we take teams there.
I've actually watched it. I'm impressed. So.
Yeah, and then you look up at the scoreboard, you're like, how'd this team score 50? This wing
They threw 4 passes.
Yeah. 4 passes, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, we knew they were going to win, but we couldn't stop it.
That's what happened when we played Roosevelt to win the outright PIL. We just did what Michigan did against Washington. Just, hey, we're going to run to the left, we're going to run to the right, and guess what? You can't stop it.
As long as we're getting 4 or more yards each time, we're getting.
Yeah, and I think so I'm not a fan of JJ's arm. That's fine.
Right.
I don't need to be a fan of JJ's arm. I don't think JJ's a fan of JJ's arm. But I don't think him going to the Giants is a good fit. Who the hell you handing the ball off to? Nobody. So
very good point.
If you are drafting JJ, you have to understand that he is one of the old school style of quarterbacks, to where he is down with the run first, little play action, but he's not, Pat Mahomes going to light up with his arm. So put him around, I'd say, put him around Cleveland. I know they won't because they just paid Deshaun Watson a shit ton of money. But they have 2 running backs that you can just hand the ball off to.
All damn game.
all damn game. And then, there's
And
Amari
good
Cooper wide
defense.
open. Yeah.
Yeah, and a good defense, yes.
Yes. So put him in a spot to where, you know, he can hand the ball off. He's got good protection, and he can make those necessary passes to receivers that may not be your ultimate star receiver, but they're open on short crossing routes. You don't have to go deep. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe New Orleans takes him.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not a big fan of his, really, per se. But again, like other quarterbacks, get him in the right system is going to take advantage of his talents, I guess is the best way to put it. Then I'm sure he could succeed.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't have an offensive line, it doesn't matter.
So I just want to point this out. This is totally off topic. From when we started, I was pasty ghost white. Now I'm fucking blue.
Has the sun gone down?
What happened to my light?
All right, well, that's enough for this episode. We're done for the day. I appreciate you showing up here with me. We'll talk again.
Yeah. We haven't done this in a while, and it was nice to get back in it and chat sports. And we got a lot more to talk about. I know that.
So for those of you who don't know, Tyler had a podcast a while back that I was with him on a regular basis called The Lively Podcast.
The Lively Podcast, yep.
The Lively Podcast, yeah. We talk sports, among other things. This will be more focused towards sports and not as much other things is the only difference, basically. But I have other guests that will show up as well. So I appreciate you being here, Tyler, and we will definitely talk again.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you.
No problem. Thanks, people. I appreciate it. Peace.